My name is David Dunning and I taught at Balby High School from 1964 to 1981. Well, I landed at Balby and I thought I was on another planet. I had a head who was walking around often with a cap and gown on, who had had a row with Bob Anderson, the long-serving deputy, and I think he'd done the timetable. And on that timetable, I had orienteering and home nursing, which surprised me somewhat, but that's what I had to do. And they were timetable fillers. And then we got another head who was the spitting image of the head I'd left. Mr. Nadin was a no-nonsense, hands-on head. Politician, he'd been a Labour Party member, he knew how things worked in council buildings and what have you. And a new regime began. And a lot of the chaps who've been in the army and that got on better with Mr. Nadin and worked, and they may have criticism, but they got on better because they knew what was happening and how things were developing. And it was a pleasant, for me, a pleasant place, being a young chap and what have you, experience with all the older men and ladies in the school. And it was he needed somebody strong because there were being two schools, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, and that could have found some incidents. I mean, the ladies had a staff room at the back of the school from their days, and the fellas had one. Well, not necessarily at the front, but the big staff room, as it would be called, had an annex, and that was the witch's kitchen. You could cut smoke, you could cut fog, and block and park it up with the ladies. They were John Bolter was one excellent, some excellent lady teachers as well. It was, for a young member of staff, very good for me. I enjoyed it. Hard work, got one or two tellings off, etc. But yeah, you have to, live with those. And I think Balby became well run, and people looked down and knew, what was happening. He was for the school. I'm here. I am for the for the progress of this school. Life at Oswin had various facets, and one was when the authorities decided that they needed some renovation in the corridors. Well, the corridors were lovely stone, meter stones, and a reinforced roof with glass and reinforcement. And Josh Bolter and myself, we could make our voices resound from the floor to the ceiling and the ceiling to the floor. We could stop youngsters in their tracks. And I thought we was now going to lose that because it's going to change. So they came, took the roof off, and went on strike. So there we are, quadrangle, roof off. Every time it rained, water all down the corridors. And one time I can still see it now, was Bob Walker, who did French, spewing water out of his classroom, down the corridor, into Lou Ortiz' class, who did English, and Lou was standing there with, "I don't believe it" face on. You know, and it was, yeah, laughable, but in a way pathetic. That, and how your good ideas, taking a roof off and leaving it off, it's not such a good idea then. And we had to have duck boards. From then on, we had duck boards. I don't think we had quite as much rain at once as that, but we did have showers, and of course walking on a duck board was much more pleasant and safe than walking on a stone floor with water. And it took ages for that strike. It went on weeks. I'm sure somebody would be able to say, "Oh yeah, builders were on strike," and work out the length of time, whatever they want, but it was some time. And they weren't just doing it for us. I don't think we were just the single job that happened. I don't think so. I think that was, we were part of a wider strike. And it was an experience. It looked lovely when it had finished, but we couldn't get the resonance out of the roof floor, Joyce and myself. But yeah, they did a good job. And I think, as I say, I think we got a couple of days off for our upheaval, as it were. And that's one of the most strangest things I've had in all the years of my teaching. Yeah, Mr. Nadin, as far as I know, he handled it well. He had contact through the authority, because we didn't really know the chain, but he remonstrated, if you like, and say, "Look, my staff are here on this. I suppose that got us the running walking board sort of thing." And they said, "Well, come on, we've been messed about. The youngsters have been messed about, and that's maybe how we got our couple of days off." So he proved his worth in that tricky situation. Quiet. Yes, Mr. Nadin charged me with working out names for the 4 houses, and I came up with Ripon, Thirsk, Beverley, York, on the basis that they were all religious places. And Mr. Nadin looked at me and said, "Aren't they also race courses?" I said, "Oh yes, they are as well. Yes, that strengthens it." He had a bit of a smile on his face when he told me, and he said, "Yes, we'll have Ripon, Thirsk, Beverley and York," and I was pleased with that, and that's what they had. And one of the things I could say, that we, as a house, I was York, never lost sports day. Reason why he liked it was because of the emphasis you could put on each house. Ripon, Thirsk, Beverley, York, staccato. Not Lord so-and-so or whatever it might be, or pink or white or whatever. They were names and given a colour, rather than just having colours. So I suppose I should be pleased with that. Another thing at the school, Martin Bright arrived, and Martin was a trip organiser, superb. And we went to London, and I remember one of the lads on the bus saying, "Oh look, a Woolworths." And with us was Bob Linton's son. And Harry Taylor, and we went to St Paul's, and Harry Taylor, being a road walker, was in, quick march, quick march, quick march, quick march, out, with everybody chasing on behind as fast as they could. Harry must have been oblivious. Of course, it wasn't quite as bad as that. But he was going out as we were going in. And we went down to the, we got to the river. And we did a count. And, oh yes, we got the right number. So off we went. Horror of horrors, we hadn't got the right number. Because Bob Linton, son, had come. And we counted him in the total as being from Balby. So that meant we were one missing. Raymond Barrick, oh. So we get to, and I'm not sure whether it was the natural history or the science museum. But when we get there, who do we meet? Raymond Barrick and a couple of policemen, who complimented Martin, quite rightly, on his organisation. Because Raymond Barrick, as well, deserves credit. He was able to tell the police that he was lost. They'd gone, but he got to be at, and they took him. And I think they said to Martin, what a good job. And to me, that just cements it with Martin, you know. You couldn't beat him on trips. Yeah, I was in goal. Shirts were similar, and not being good on colours could be difficult. But I can see colours, but not necessarily give the same thing. Anyway, Fairhurst, they had a good team, the lads, and Fairhurst, his father played with the Rovers, and this ball came down, and I'm in goal. So I see somebody running, then I see somebody else running. And they were in similar colours. I think Keith Holden was in colours, I'm not sure. And so I went for this ball. And as it turned out, my best friend went for the ball. And Fairhurst, the lad, went like a rocket out of the way. And it was bang. And I've got pretty strong legs, but that's how that's the outcome. They didn't do a good job of the infirmary. And I said, oh, what's happened, Roy? He said, I broke your leg. Oh, thanks, I said. So it stopped. Game stopped. Ambulance came. They had a brilliant, because of the pit area, I said, a blow-up splint. Clear. Absolutely superb. And he said, yeah, they're phasing them out. And they said it's one of the best things you can see. You can see this. I said, well, I wish it hadn't to be. It wasn't mine. So I get off to hospital, and Roy rings up Rosalie, my wife, and she didn't believe him. She said, Roy, you're always telling jokes. You're always getting me on. I don't believe you. He says, I've broken his leg. Not on purpose, but in the game. But she said, you're on the same side. Well, yes. So I came home later. They dropped me next morning on the floor because they didn't realise they'd got a carry or whatever. And I went and was off school then, right through the transformation. I think the lads won 2-1. They carried on, I think. And so I went as like a new teacher, oblivious to what had happened. The two decisions that I made, one, to marry my good lady, and two, to be a teacher, because I seemed to fit. I like to think I was compassionate and and truthful and helpful. And I would try and help youngsters, some who were finding it difficult, some who were being awkward, and some who were being downright nasty. You had to cover a wide range. But I don't regret, 1 minute, because I just intimated I would not have met my wife. I might have always met somebody else. But it was a time when teachers were, or older members of the teaching profession, that had been in the war, and they don't think so. The staff, there was camaraderie or whatever, still running strongly when I went to training in college and then ultimately into teaching. So I'm pleased that I did that. I don't know if I'd have gone straight in, I maybe not be as good as having had some experience of work. And then when I went into Balby, and I got people like Lottie, Bert Whitfield, Matty Taylor, all the fellas, Twinney, as I say, Taffy Williams, they're all, Jim Webb, bless him, from Stamp Corner, that used to be in Scott Lane, or one of, they if you like, they've been in and come out the other side and into teaching. So we had, the rookies had somebody to look up, somebody with a different prospect. Honestly, the best thing was marrying my wife. We'd been going out, 6 weeks, engaged, married in a year. I've been a very, very lucky fella.